Please raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by The Last of Us. Hello, Internet. I'm Ren, and today I want to talk about Season 2, Episode 2 of The Last of Us, Through the Valley. This episode was absolutely devastating and completely reshapes the story moving forward. This is going to be another one of my low-key, unscripted reviews, so it's just me, my notes, and my hyperfixation. This video will, of course, contain spoilers for The Last of Us up to Season 2, Episode 2 of the TV show. And I will also be spoiling a major death from 2016 in The Walking Dead. I'll be sure to flag that as well in the chapter section, so you can skip it if that's something that you still don't want spoiled for you 9 years later. But let's get into it, because there is a lot to talk about with this episode. So we're going to go ahead and break down the setup and then the 2.5 storylines. Abby and company have made it to the outskirts of Jackson and are holed up in an under-renovation ski lodge. Abby has what seem to be recurring nightmares of the day that Joel attacked the Fireflies, where she found one of the casualties who was clearly someone important to her.
Don't go in there.
Stop it!
His brains are on the floor.
And she wakes up hell-bent on revenge. Unfortunately, her friends have been out scouting, and after reviewing Jackson's defenses,
let's just say we get past the gates, the guards, the patrols.
They also got dogs.
Are feeling much less confident about any plan to kidnap Joel.
And the dogs. We still don't know where Joel is in there.
After trying to give her a bit of a subtle reality check, her friend Owen pretends to have a plan and sends Abby out on patrol. And he reveals to the others that his plan is to try and convince Abby to go home.
The plan is to convince her to go back. If we don't, the only people getting killed out here are us.
Meanwhile, back in Jackson, Jesse picks up Ellie for patrol, and also makes a point to troll Ellie about her kiss with Dina the night before.
You kissed her. We've been broken up 1 week and you made a move on her?
I didn't. I wouldn't do that.
I'm screwing with you, man. I already know. I don't care.
They squabble a bit.
Certainty masquerading as knowledge. Very Ellie of you.
Suck my dick.
And she tries to switch to patrolling with Joel instead.
No offense, man. I'm gonna do my patrol with Joel.
Yes, offense, because that's the one person you've been avoiding like the plague.
Saying that she and Joel worked their stuff out the night before, and acknowledging how complicated their relationship has become.
My shit with Joel is complicated, but I'm still me, he's still Joel, and nothing's ever gonna change that.
But unfortunately, Jesse reveals that Joel already left with Dina. Before they go out, they attend a large town meeting with Maria and Tommy, because Jackson is preparing in case a horde descends upon them.
If you see flares, if you hear bells, stop what you're doing, you follow the plan.
After another patrol found a pile of frozen infected, which turned out to be concealing dozens of live infected. And so, out of an abundance of caution, they're preparing just in case there's even more infected under the snow.
Young ones, old ones, right quick into basements and cellars. For the rest of us, where do we go?
And it's a good thing, too. Maria does get Seth the homophobe to apologize to Ellie, and he does seem sincere.
I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have even thought it. I'm sorry.
And even offers her a steak sandwich.
They're steak.
To be clear, it's nice of Seth to apologize, but I like that Ellie doesn't accept his apology.
People get drunk and say awful shit they've never thought before. Really?
No, that's fair.
It's great if Seth has changed his ways, but the reality is he screamed a homophobic slur at Ellie during her first kiss with Dina. He's not entitled to Ellie's forgiveness or kindness or anything else after that behavior. Jesse and Ellie head out, but before long, a blizzard hits and all the teams are either recalled or told to shelter in place. So Jesse takes Ellie to go shelter in Eugene's weed garage.
Am I fucking hallucinating?
You see a 7-Eleven full of weed?
Yep.
Then no.
And they chat a little bit about Eugene.
How'd you know about this place?
Eugene, he's my first patrol partner.
And how horrible it is that he survived so much and then went out the way that he did. And we find out he used to be a Firefly, which does make me wonder if Eugene being infected is all there is to the story. Especially with the way Ellie reacts when Jesse first brings up Eugene, and the look on her face when he says this.
What are you gonna do? Couldn't be saved.
It feels like Ellie knows something, or at least has her suspicions, if she's not involved in whatever happened to Eugene. I'm not sure if her guilt stems from the idea that a vaccine maybe could have saved him, or if it was directly Joel's fault, but she definitely feels some kind of guilt about Eugene specifically. Jesse and Ellie find out that the only team that hasn't checked in is Joel and Dina, so they agree to go looking for them and split up with a plan to meet at the mines afterwards.
You gotta get to the mine by then, Ellie, whether you find them or not.
Yeah, you fucking too, Jesse.
Meanwhile, Abby is out on patrol, She initially spots Jesse and Ellie's horses, and then while she's trying to get into a better position for further surveillance, she loses her footing and goes sliding down the hill. It's so funny because I'm actually a skier and I have fallen on a groomed run and slid down a hill like that, and it's terrifying, although it is also a lot of fun. Less fun, though, when you land at the bottom in what seems to be a menagerie of frozen zombies. It turns out Abby found the pile of infected. Unfortunately, her activities awaken the zombies beneath the snow, and they come popping out like murderous mushroom daisies. Abby makes a run for it, and we get a sequence that's taken kind of directly from the game where she's fleeing from this horde of zombies, and she gets trapped under a chain link fence as the zombies press closer and closer. It's so claustrophobic, so stressful, really well done. She barely gets out from under the fence when she gets tackled by an infected, and then suddenly there's a man next to her who shoots the zombie and offers her his hand.
Can you run? Run!
And we know, of course, that the man is Joel. He helps Abby get to safety, and once he gets back to Dina and the horses, they make a run for it. Unfortunately, Abby hears Dina use Joel's name.
Joel!
Up here! I'm coming!
And she realizes her luck. She doesn't have to go into the city at all because her quarry is right here. So she lures them back to the ski lodge, promising weapons and assistance.
If we stay here, we die. And if we go out there, we die.
My friends are holed up in a lodge halfway up the mountain, not far.
Meanwhile, the rest of the horde descends upon Jackson. And it's a good thing they had their defenses prepared. They ring the bells. And as planned, all of the vulnerable people, the children and the elderly, go to the cellars, and the able-bodied adults head to the roofs and to the wall around town. There's a lot of fire defenses involved in this. They drop barrels of what seems to be some kind of oil on the zombies and then light them on fire outside the walls. And their plan seems to be working as they pick them off until a bloater shows up, and it manages to break through the walls, letting a stream of zombies inside. And then Tommy is with a crew on Main Street that are, I guess, defending against the zombies with flamethrowers? I suppose the idea is that the zombies should already be covered in oil and so should light right up, but to me at least, it seems a little inadvisable to be lighting all of these infected on fire in a town primarily built of wood. I mean, even the wall, I know it's not immediately going to go up in flames, but you'd think a pile of flaming zombies next to it would be, a fire hazard. Tommy manages to kill the bloater with his flamethrower, but just barely. I have to admit, that was a pretty well done scene. In terms of the fear I felt watching the pressure gauge drop as the bloater got closer and closer to him.
I think Delicious in Dungeon has ruined me though, because when I saw this, I'm not gonna lie, it made me hungry.
When all seems lost, Maria manages to release the hounds, and they turn the tide and the townspeople manage to fight off the horde. But not without a substantial number of casualties, including Seth the homophobe. And Maria and Tommy hold each other and cry as they observe the devastation. And I found that scene really powerful. And sad. On the bright side, though, they'll probably have room to put people now that so many people have been eaten. Silver linings? On the way to the lodge, Joel spots the fire and wants to go back.
Oh god!
I have to go back!
We won't make it!
But Abby insists that they need to get to the lodge first because they won't make it and they need supplies.
We're almost there! The lodge is just up ahead.
Once they get there, Abby's friends are pretty freaked out when they first see the horses, but then are relieved when they see friendly faces. Everyone goes inside, and they start helping the newcomers.
Easy. We're gonna raise your body temperature up slowly, okay?
Of course, until Abby reveals one of them is Joel.
Her name's Dina. Dina? And he is Joel.
At that point, all hell breaks loose. They hold Dina at gunpoint, and one of Abby's reluctant friends knocks her out with some kind of tranquilizer.
This is going to put you to sleep for 1 hour. That is all. I promise. I promise.
And while he's wondering what the hell is going on, since he just saved her life,
I saved your life.
Abby basically shows him that no good deed goes unpunished.
What life?
Abby has her friend tourniquet Joel, and then starts monologuing. First, they kind of interrogate him and ask him when the last time he saw the fireflies was, and then they get to the heart of the matter. Because as we know, along with all of the soldiers that Joel killed, he also killed an unarmed doctor.
You remember that one? An unarmed doctor you shot in the head.
And that doctor was Abby's father.
That was my dad.
And now it all makes sense. And of course, we kind of knew it had to be something like that. I mean, why else would she be so hell-bent on revenge? but it's still a pretty good reveal. It is revealed differently in the game, and I have seen a lot of criticism for having this revealed so early, but I think it's kind of important because we don't really have the same situation as the game where we're going to be forced to play as Abby. I'm sure we're going to start to watch things unfold from Abby's perspective, but we don't actually get to play as her. And so I think to make us care about her at all while we watch her journey, we need to know early on why she did this horrible thing to a character that we have come to really love and care about. Because of course, this doesn't end with a kneecapping. After Joel interrupts her monologuing,
Oh, it's funny. I've waited
Oh,
so
just shut the fuck up and do it already.
Abby proceeds to beat him pretty much within an inch of his life with some golf clubs that happen to be lying around. She beats him bad enough that she breaks one of them. And as this is happening is when Ellie comes upon their trail and shows up at the lodge. She goes inside, she follows the sounds, and she's immediately knocked down, pinned, and disarmed by Abby's friends as she takes in the scene of what's happening to Joel. And she begs for Joel to get up.
Joel, get up! Fucking get up!
And Joel tries. Even in the state he's in, he tries. And that breaks me. It makes me so sad. And then Owen tells Abby to finish it.
End it.
Joel, get up!
And despite Ellie's protests, despite her begging,
Please don't!
she does. And we watch Joel die. They leave Ellie there on the ground, kick her once for good measure so the wind's knocked out of her, and Ellie promises to kill Abby.
You're gonna die! You're all gonna fucking die!
And when she's able, she crawls over to Joel. She pulls out the broken piece of golf club that was used to stab him in the throat, and she holds his hand. And then Jesse eventually finds them, and she, Jesse, and Dina all bring Joel back to Jackson. And I sob. Oh my God. And I knew what was going to happen. I did. I spoiled this whole thing for myself because I watched a video essay on The Last of Us before the show even came out, and then I watched a couple of playthroughs, so I was fully aware of what was going to happen. I was even pretty confident it was going to happen in this episode. Part of me was still just a little in denial that maybe they would want to keep him around longer because Pedro Pascal is such a star, but I knew it. And this was almost exactly like Glenn's death on The Walking Dead, which is another zombie show. Glenn was an integral character in that show, one of our leads for numerous seasons.
You got some balls for a Chinaman.
I'm Korean.
I don't actually remember what season he died in, but the way he dies is horrific. He gets beaten to death by a barbed wire bat in front of his pregnant wife and all his friends. I actually pretty much stopped watching the show after that. I'm not going to stop watching The Last of Us, though. But it was kind of the same thing where I had read the comics, I knew what was going to happen, but Glenn was so popular, so I thought there was no way they would go through with it. And they did, and I cried. But here, I think this is handled in a very different way, and I'm really looking forward to how it shapes the story as we progress from this moment. Because, of course, this is something that will change Ellie forever. This is something that will change Tommy forever. This is something that will change Abby forever. And it will completely alter the course of all of these characters' lives going forward. But here's the thing, and this is what really gets me. If this had been Abby's story all along, if we had been watching from Abby's perspective from the beginning, we would have cheered for Abby killing Joel. We would have been happy for her getting that revenge. But because we know Joel, because we know Ellie, because we know all of this context that led up to this moment, we hate Abby. We despise Abby, even understanding why she did what she did. This isn't really a spoiler, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff from Abby's perspective going forward. And if they pull it off, we're going to come to like and care about Abby, despite what she did to Joel. And I think that's honestly truly remarkable storytelling. When the game came out, this death was controversial, and of course it's going to be controversial for the TV show as well. But I think one thing that it really does beautifully is it makes you pause and reconsider the casual violence of a lot of video games, movies, and TV shows. You know, games and shows where your main character kills some bad guys for a justifiable reason within the story. But those guys he kills are completely dehumanized because they're just a plot device to move the character forward. We're not supposed to care about them. We're not supposed to acknowledge or recognize their humanity. And really, if you think about it, how much did you think about Joel killing the doctor at the end of season 1? How much did you think about literally any of the people that he killed when he decided to save Ellie from the Fireflies? My guess is not much at all. Maybe a bit about Marlene, but really even she felt disposable in that moment because we're so focused on the goal of saving Ellie. We completely ignore the humanity and the connections and families and friends that all these people Joel killed clearly had. And it's heartbreaking. So what Abby did to Ellie here is exactly what Joel did to Abby, right? She traumatized her by killing her father in front of her. But really, the trauma of watching him die versus finding his brains on the floor, I feel like that's pretty comparable. And Abby's decisions in this moment are going to ripple out to a lot of other people, just like Joel's did and just like Ellie's will. Because Ellie is going to go on a revenge quest. She is going to go after Abby. And we're going to see everything that it will cost her. Because it will cost her. And it will cost Abby. And I think it's really interesting that they had Joel save Abby's life. And if this was any other show, any other book or movie or game, that act of him saving her life would probably be enough to convince her not to pursue her revenge against him. It would make her reconsider what kind of person he is, and maybe help her come to terms with that, and possibly ask some questions about why he did what he did. But it's not that kind of story. Abby is so consumed with revenge, she doesn't even care about or consider the fact that Joel saved her life, because she's too full of pain to feel anything else. I know a lot of people are probably going to stop watching the show after episode 2, and I can't blame them. It's really upsetting. But if you stick with it, I think you will be rewarded with some truly phenomenal storytelling. While it was a controversial decision to kill Joel off, it is also so bold and absolutely brilliant in terms of completely subverting our expectations of how this story is going to go and what Joel's role is in it. And I have to respect the commitment to the message and to the exploration of all of these feelings, because there's so much left unsaid between Joel and Ellie. Hopefully less than it seems. I'm hoping we get the future days scene and a real talk between Joel and Ellie in like a flashback so that we at least have that comfort. But even so, even if they started resolving their issues, there was still so much that they had to say to each other that they're never going to get to say. And I think that's really powerful. And I think it's going to go a long way to explaining why Ellie can't let go of this and why she takes it as far as she does. So I'm really excited to have my heart broken by the rest of the season. I do think the people that are still ragging on Bella Ramsey's performance as Ellie are strong. I understand they don't look much like the video game character. I get it. Personally, for me, in an adaptation, I don't really care that much about it unless the character's looks are like important to the story, and Ellie's are not. But I think they really capture Ellie's essence and spunk and her humor and her anger really well.
You're the worst.
It's kind of fucked up you did that, though.
I think going forward, they're going to do an amazing job shaping Ellie with what's happened to her in this moment. Because that scene where she crawls over to Joel and where she begs him to get up,
Joel, get up! Joel, fucking get up!
crushed me. Their performance was so fantastic in that moment, and I just don't understand why people are still hating on them. One thing I'm interested to see is where the mycelium is going to go, because before the zombie attack, we did see someone else open up the pipes and pull out some of the mycelium, and I'm wondering if that's related to the horde that we saw or to something else, so I am curious to see where that goes. As a Seattleite, I'm also really excited to see post-apocalypse Seattle. I know some of it was shot in Nanaimo because I was there like a week afterwards, but I hope that we get to see some zombified Seattle landmarks. But that's all I have for you for now. What did you think about this episode of The Last of Us? Are you as devastated as I am? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos. See you next time. Wiedersehen.